Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. We are the Mile High Property Brothers. Today is super fun. We've done this before, but we haven't done it in a while. I'm excited to talk about it because there are some updates to these places, but we're talking about the top 5 neighborhoods in Denver. There's more to come.
That's right.
Updates of what's going on in these places.
Call this part 1.
If you've seen it before, you're gonna see it again. Let's get into it.
Starting right off, let's jump right into it. We are staying focused in the city of Denver today.
So if Denver were a clock,
and
Denver in the center, we're in the center.
We're in the vortex of Denver right now.
Wow, great word. We're in the center.
There we go.
And just hyper focusing on actual Denver neighborhoods.
Yes. So, and these also are in no particular order. These are just the top 5, but number 1, Washington Park.
More popularly known as Wash Park. Right. Great spot. I'm just gonna give you my personal reason as into why this is one of my favorites. You've got Wash Park itself, which is huge. You've got 2 bodies of water that's there, but you've got so much recreation there on the weekends. People that are jogging, you've got sponsored 5Ks, you've got sponsored dog 5Ks, you've got volleyball going on. So when it comes to just having a place close proximity to where you live, but there's so much going on, yet there's plenty of space for everybody because of how big it is. But what's really cool is like you still have really big lots for these homes.
Yes.
And you've got your driveway, you've got your garage, you've got a backyard, you've got a front yard. You can walk your neighborhood like normal, but within several blocks, you can go to one of the biggest parks in the state of Colorado and enjoy it. And there's just not too many places where you can have both of these worlds next to each other in livable edges.
That's right, and it really is the park in Denver. Denver is known for the parks. You turn any corner, you're gonna see a park, right? That's kind of the thing. It's almost laughable how many parks are out there, but Wash Park is the park.
Yeah, City Park is great, but you've got the museum there, you've got the zoo there, plenty of grass, et cetera, but everyone tends to gravitate down to Wash Park for jogging and different stuff. City Park, even on the weekends, unless there's like an art festival going on, City Park tends to be very quiet, consistently.
Room for anything you want to do.
Room for anything. Even when it's busy, it's so spread out and there's just a ton of space. So if you're looking for a little bit more quiet, we can cover City Park at another time, but definitely something that we'll cover if we haven't covered it before. I'm pretty sure we've covered it before.
Yeah.
Today we're getting back to Wash Park, but homes there are also fun. So when it comes to 2 bodies of water, people get married there. You got gardens, you've got 5Ks, you got volleyball. Cool. But let's get into the type of home that you guys can have there. I love the old bungalows when they get remodeled. They're actually called bungalows. I used to think my mom just made that up. That was her word. They're actually like a bungalow style home, but the remodels on those are phenomenal. But you've also got some scrapes that are there. We've got new builds. Just they scrape the old one off in that lot and they created new builds. But the variety of home, the square footage, and the actual lot size that you guys get there and the proximity to everything else in Denver. If I were to live somewhere, it'd be Wash Park.
All right, guys, jumping over to one of my favorite tools here, Google Earth. Let's take a look at Wash Park a little bit more in depth. Let's jump into a little street view action so you can get a feel of what it might be like actually living out in the area. So jumping over here, let's check out some Google Earth. Let's go ahead and punch in Wash Park here, and this is going to give you guys a nice little 360-degree view here so you guys can get a little bit of a lay of the land, if you will, as far as the park. So this whole neighborhood outlined in red here is the park. This highway that we've got here, this is I-25. This is our primary north-south highway. And then you can see here, just on the west side of the highway, is University of Denver. Okay, so as you guys can see, Wash Park, it is a fairly big neighborhood, and you have a lot of houses, you know, jammed in this rectangle here that comprises of Wash Park. Over here on the west side, this is actually considered West Wash Park, but whenever you hear just Wash Park in general, it's going to be the park and then everything on the east side of the park. There is actually going to be a little bit more affordability over here on the west side. Let me go ahead and spin this around for you so you guys can see. And then just to reorient, this is north and south right here. But let's go ahead and zoom in. Let's take a look at the park a little bit here, just to give you guys a feel. Now, this definitely does not do it justice. This is a massive park. You've got a bunch of tennis courts here on the south side. You've got this really, really big lake here. And then as we go north, just massive open fields. This is where, you know, Will mentioned volleyball and stuff earlier. This is where all of that is going to be taking place. And honestly, even when there's a lot going on there still is a lot of room in the park. It's really, really big. And then if we come up on the north side where you've got this little boathouse, got this secondary lake. So you have the 2 lakes on the north side and on the south side, and in between all this open space And then as you guys can see, you have these cement trails that go all the way around the park. And this is where they'll do the 5Ks and all that other fun community stuff. But let's come over here and let's get into the housing a little bit so that you guys can get a feel for what you can expect over here. Now, it's going to look like these houses are crammed pretty tight. Honestly, a lot of these are slightly bigger than your standard Denver sized lots. As you can see here, here's a house that has been torn down or scraped. They're going to be doing a new build there. A lot of these, almost all of them do have either a detached or an attached garage, which is really nice because these streets do get pretty packed, especially on the weekend with so much, I don't want to say tourists, but so much local traffic that comes to the area. Zooming in here on the streets here, this is where you can see that, you know, this house has been rebuilt. You've got this one right here where they are currently building, or whenever this was, whenever Google was out there roaming around. But as you guys can see, this is as good as Denver neighborhood streets get, where they're pretty quiet. They're lined with trees. Everything is just very, very green. What I like is it's very walkable. You actually have sidewalks here. So even when the streets are packed, there still is plenty of room. If you're a pedestrian, you got to go walk somewhere. That part of it is always good. But man, Wash Park, it's just so quiet and serene. It really is hard to beat. And then, you know, Will mentioned bungalow style homes earlier. That's going to be these, like this one right here. This one is like pseudo bungalow style. A lot of these homes, they were built in the probably about 1940s, 1950s. And oh, there's some secret information there. There's some more over there. But if you go a little bit north here, you can see, you know, there's a fair amount of these like fairly normal looking homes. Even these, I would expect to spend about $1 million or so on. And then you're going to have some nicer, more ultra modern luxury type of homes that are going to be around here that, you know, they can go as far as 3, 4, 5 million in Wash Park. So you're going to see quite a range of, you know, prices as far as homes go, but I would definitely expect to drop about $1 million just to get into the neighborhood. But Wash Park, more than any other neighborhood, I'd venture to say in Colorado, is going to hold its value tremendously well. And then if we come back out here just a little more, let's come down here on the street that is near the park here. Kind of like beachfront property, right? You're going to have homes that increase in value the closer you are to the park, and then the further away you get from the park, the more affordability starts to become a real thing here. So all of these homes that sit on the, and actually let's go a little bit south from here. All of these homes that sit really close to the park, this is where you're going to start to see the most premium prices. I can see this new build home, obviously gorgeous, ultra modern. A lot of these are going to be builds. This one, they probably added on top. You're going to see quite a bit of those. Here you've got some other construction projects that are going on. All of these homes, this is going to be premium property here in Colorado. And when it comes to living in Denver, again, you live on these sort of homes facing the park or close to it, man, that's like classic Denver living. That's as good as it gets. So this is Wash Park, guys. It is one of our absolute favorite places. Let's get on to the next neighborhood.
All right, guys, and just a reminder, we are licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado, and just as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those real estate needs.
That's right.
That number that's popping up below. We are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So if we can help you, we'd love to. But with that being said, let's get into our second neighborhood.
All right, moving right along here. This is going to be a combination. Let's talk LoDo / RiNo.
LoDo / RiNo, because I don't even know if you can live in LoDo. Can you?
Yeah,
kind of. There's a little bit. It's lower downtown. For those of you that don't know, there's some condos that are down there.
Yep.
There's just not a lot of variety as far as like actual living.
Yeah. If you're looking for townhomes, single family homes, you won't find a single one of those down in LoDo. So we like combining these two, and let's just call it downtown living. I think is a fair thing to call that whole area.
Correct. So LoDo is like literally lower downtown. This is right in the heart of like Union Station, Coors Field. So you will have a couple of condos, et cetera, but
yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's big skyscrapers, glass house, all that stuff. Yeah, they're.
I like when he argues with me on camera.
It's true though. It's true. It's subjective. There's some massive condo developments in downtown Denver that are very popular.
Agreed.
Yes.
Maybe it's just not my personal preference, although they are amazing. But when it comes to the rest of the living, if it's okay to continue,
by all means.
We'll talk about RiNo, and that's going to be directly east of lower downtown by merely a couple of blocks.
Yes. yes. And that is where, to Will's point, you're going to start finding more single family homes, more duplexes, still a lot of condos and things like that. But what you're going to find is a much more art vibe down there.
It's an art vibe because it's an art district.
It is an art district.
So now I get to throw it back at him. It's an official registered art district.
It is.
In Denver, which is cool. A lot of like just hand painted art. And by art district, they have a lot of art shows down there, but a lot of the buildings inside and out have been painted on. It's really cool. You get a lot of festivals down there. You have a lot of like beer gardens and breweries. You guys know how much, I think Colorado's still per capita, the most breweries per.
Someone argue with us in the comments, please.
Something like, either way, like we're really big when it comes to breweries in Colorado. So when it comes to those in RiNo and just the different beer gardens and recreation that you guys can have either in the evenings or on the weekends, really fun. And the art theme to it makes it pretty cool.
It is. So whether you're living down there or not, maybe you're more of a single family, suburban type of person, man, you're definitely going to be going to RiNo or downtown just for all of those fun things.
Glass House is pretty cool.
Yeah, there are some cool
I guess what I was thinking of is just compared to like a New York or a Chicago, you just don't have as much downtown living as you do in some of those other like large cities.
To Will's point again, they're just not as popular.
Right.
You know, when people are moving here to Colorado, they're not dying to live right in downtown. Still, we've sold a few from the Glass House, right? It's just not something that people are, like you may be going to Chicago, you're trying to get right downtown. Denver's not really that sort of place. There's so much fun outside of town, and you're still so close to downtown that you can live just outside of it, you can be there in 10 minutes and get the best of both worlds.
I was right, he was wrong.
Pretty much.
All right, so let's dive into RiNo and a little bit of LoDo. And just in case you missed it earlier, to break it down what the heck these words are that I'm saying, RiNo stands for River North and LoDo stands for Lower Downtown. And Denver, I don't know why they love shortening these names up and making some little cute, catchy phrase out of it. But RiNo and LoDo are what we are going to explore right now. So jumping over here to Google Earth, let's go ahead and check out RiNo. Give you guys our little 360 view here. You can see this kind of funky shape that they've got here. I'm going to point out a couple notable features so you guys can have a little bit of context as far as exactly where we're at. And I'm going to go ahead and reorient this for north and south here. So busting out the handy dandy marker, we've got Coors Field right here. This is our baseball stadium. All right. We've got I-25 cutting up here that runs along the west side of River North. And then if you guys can't see it outlined exactly, River North is going to be about this square right here. And then it comes up on the north side here, hence River North. All right. Coming down here, you guys can see a couple things that I want to point out. Is you see a lot of industrial here. You see some warehouses, you see a bunch of train tracks and things like that. You've got the Platte River that is running through here. This is what RiNo pretty much all used to be. It used to just all be this commercial stuff. And then what started happening was you started seeing a lot of these old factories that were around here get converted into these condo developments, which is really, really cool. Back when I lived in Denver, I lived in Denver from about 8 to maybe 2012 or so. And yeah, this was just train tracks up here and factories. So River North is now an art district. What you're gonna find are a lot of cool street art. You're gonna see tons of apartments and condos like you guys are seeing right here. I'm gonna keep going down Brighton Boulevard. This is one of the primary roads in the area. But what's cool, guys, is you can see, these buildings are clearly new. They look like they're well kept. They're like trendy. There's a very big trendy factor up in RiNo, which I think is cool. I'm gonna go forward here just a little bit more and we are going to get off of Brighton Boulevard. And I wanna show you guys just some of the cool street art pieces. And I'm just gonna kind of turn down one of these random roads. Let me come up here to a road here. I bet we can stumble across some pretty cool artwork. Here's Great Divide. This is a big brewery and beer garden. There's going to be a lot of cool restaurants and stuff that are up here. And if we keep going a little bit further north, this is where we are then going to get into just some cool townhomes and things like that. So you guys can see right here, you've got this mural over here. You're going to see this stuff all over RiNo. It's very cool. It's very trendy. Let's see here. You've got a random house here right in the middle. That's not uncommon to see up in RiNo, a random house amidst all these developments, massive apartments here. If we just keep going. Back when I lived in Denver, this was pretty much all RiNo was. You'd see some, kind of just worn down storage facilities and commercial places and things like that. Coming down here a little bit more, You now have a natural grocers here, which is awesome. And guys, you just did not used to have this down in RiNo whatsoever. Again, trendy townhomes, apartments, high-paced city life, a little bit faster-paced city life than outside the suburbs. That's what you're going to find there in RiNo. Now let's go to LoDo and check a little bit of that out. Again, LoDo, lower downtown. So we're just going to go to a little bit south here. Now, LoDo is considered the heart of downtown Denver. Okay, now one thing about Denver that might be surprising to you is it's a fairly small city. You know, it's not one of those places that is like a big Chicago or anything like that. It's a fairly small downtown. And like we were saying before, you don't see a lot of people that are just dying to live in downtown Denver. They want to have accessibility to downtown Denver, but then most of the time they want to live in one of the suburban neighborhoods just outside of it, okay? So let's go down and take a look at it here, and I'm gonna show you guys just a little bit of what the streets of downtown are like. So here we are on Wine Coop and 16th. This is actually right in front of the Union Station train station that we have here. And let's see if I can come down Wine Coop. Denver, as you guys can tell already by probably looking at some of these buildings here, it's a very historic town. All these buildings, very historic. This is the Oxford Hotel. It's actually one of the first hotels that ever popped up in Denver. But this is it. You know, it's very, very beautiful architecture. You know, it's just very classic feel, classic Denver. And these are some really cool lofts that you'll have, like all of these. So a lot of these places you're going to have, you know, retail on the bottom. And then a lot of these are either offices or these are converted buildings that are now lofts and condos. These are probably offices here. This is downtown Denver, guys. Pretty clean, very, very walkable, stores everywhere, tons of cool little lofty places to live in. A lot of these places have that high ceilings, wood beams, concrete floors, things like that. Just kind of your cool downtown loft feel. Denver is very, very big on that, and they've really done a great job keeping a lot of the historic feel that they have here. But as you guys can see, you don't have these big towering skyscrapers full of condos or anything like that. You're going to spend a lot of time downtown, going to breweries and bars, having fun with some friends, going out to some games. Most likely, you're going to end up maybe living just outside of Denver if you're trying to be within the city of Denver. So that's LoDo and RiNo. Let's get to the next one.
Moving into number 3 for our third neighbor that we want to talk about today, and that is
The Highlands.
Highlands.
That's right, not Highlands Ranch.
Nope.
The Highlands. This is right downtown. This is going to be just on the west side of the highway, right across from RiNo and LoDo. This whole block of homes over here, and let's expand it from Lower Highlands or the Highlands to the other surrounding areas of West Highlands, Sunnyside, and Berkeley as well.
This is how I communicate Highlands. This is how effective.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Little Man ice cream.
There we go.
See how that works? You guys have seen so much of it. We've talked so much about it. And as much as we brag about it, we've only got ice cream there once.
One time.
This is French toast, by the way. Amazing. French toast, water in a box, Denver.
And it was pretty good. Then the other time we were doing this like diet he wanted us to do, and I wasn't allowed to have it or something like that.
He's usually the one's coming up with the crazy ideas.
Wasn't I doing something? I was doing something. I can't remember. Either way, it's amazing ice cream. But what's really cool is, true to Colorado, even though you're like still right in the heart of the city, they have dog parks for you. So if you're living in condos or townhomes or whatever it may be, or single family homes, but your lot isn't as big, not only is it walk friendly in the Highlands, but you've got dog parks. You've got plenty of nightlife when it comes to Little Man ice cream, which is still popping at night. You've got a couple Italian restaurants. You've got Avanti down there. A lot of really cool fun that's happening, and it's just right across the highway, and you have a major bridge that literally takes you right across. So really cool as far as like proximity. Outside of Wash Park, which is a little bit further outside of like the actual downtown area. If I were to live like downtown, Highlands is a really cool spot to still get some peace and quiet somewhat because you're across the highway. But plenty of fun, plenty of nightlife. It's popping down there, right? It's a lot of fun.
It is, and what I love about that particular area, there's a definite trendiness factor, right? Like some of the best restaurants that we have out there, some of the highest restaurants in Denver are in the Highlands. Some really cool speakeasies, particularly this one called William and Graham's that we went to, that we did a feature on. Really, really cool places down there. My perfect type of nightlife, because you're not gonna get the clubs or anything like that. You're not gonna get any of the rowdy nighttime like you might have down in downtown Denver. Over here, it very much, if you're out and there's nighttime vibes, it's nighttime coffee shops, nighttime restaurants, cool speakeasies and things like that, and just really cool trendy restaurants like Avanti.
You have the club life down here. A lot of the youngsters like the whole club life, and you'll still get some of that down here, but you've got so many like young professionals and professionals in their 30s and 40s and 50s that love to work hard, play hard. Colorado's very fit, so it's still very active. So a lot of those places are super popular because you still have a lot of adults that are well into their 30s or 40s or whatever it may be, but they still like getting out, but they're not clubbing. They're doing more of this, which is why we have so much of it.
All right, now jumping over to one of my all-time favorites, Lower Highlands, all right? Or AKA The Highlands, AKA Low-High. Giving you some context, 360 pan. We've got this kind of triangular shape that we've got here. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right. Actually, let me spin this around a little bit more and orient us back to north-south here. All right, sorry for making you guys a little bit dizzy there. So, okay, let's point out some landmarks that we've got here. Down here, we're going to have Empower Field. This is Mile High Stadium. This is where the Broncos play. We've got I-25 running up here. Give you guys a little more context. We've got Coors Field, a baseball stadium right here. Just on the immediate west side of the highway, we are going to have the Highlands. All right, now, the Highlands, as we mentioned before, it is very trendy. It's a very cool place for young professionals, right? It's the place where people go. I say this about the Highlands. This is like the place where people go to when they kind of have grown out of the LoDo life that you're going to find here on the east side of the highway, the downtown fast-paced life, and they're ready for a little bit more suburbia, but they're not quite ready to get away from downtown yet. This is going to be the perfect blend for you. So the types of homes that you are going to find here, guys, are a lot of townhomes, condos, and apartments. You're also going to find more single family homes. Like, believe it or not, this is a single family home right there, even though you're 6 inches from the building next to it. So this is what I mean when we were referencing Wash Park earlier, where we're talking about how much yard space you get. Even though the lots didn't look that big, man, you can see how much yard space they have, right? Now, this isn't all of the Highlands. What you can see here is we have these apartments or condos over here. You've got some commercial spaces here on the right-hand side. Let's come down here now. Oh, here you've got Senor Bear, really, really good Mexican food here, amazing tequila as well. And you've got all these cool restaurants that are right here. You're gonna find some of the best dining in Denver in the Highlands, actually. Very, very busy streets, as you guys can see here. They're fairly narrow. So if you are gonna get a single family home out here, make sure you've got a garage to go along with it. Coming down here a little bit more, I'm gonna give you guys just a good example of some of the homes that you're gonna see out here. So here's an example of, this is probably a duplex. If I had to guess, I would say this home right here is probably going for about 1.5 to possibly 2 million. Even if this is a duplex, it's going to be approximately 2 million each side. Coming down here, we're going to see what some of the single family homes out here are going to look like. And then you're going to be, very well across the street from places like this. Some place like this could be 2.5 to 3 million. Same with this one right here. Coming down the street just a little bit more, you're going to see plenty of single family homes like this as well. So you're going to see quite a variety of homes that are out here. Man, when it comes to one of the most walkable, one of the most trendy, and I hesitate to even use the word trendy when we're talking about the Highlands because it's nothing new. To me, a trendy area, it kind of insinuates that it is something that's new. It's a new trend that's popping, but the Highlands has been very popular for a very long time, but it still is a trendy place to live. Looking at some of these homes right here, this style that you're going to have, they have a lot of these original Victorian-esque homes. And it's not uncommon to see these in the original condition that they're in, which is, again, just kind of adds to some of the cool factor and adds a little bit of character to the Highlands. Of course, as you start going around, you guys have seen a lot of the restaurants and stuff that are around here. I'm going to show you guys one of the more popular ones. We've got Avanti right here. This bar up here, outdoor bar, very, very cool. You're gonna have some of the absolute best views of downtown Denver here. You can't really see it right now. This is a collective eatery. It's a fancy word for a food court. So there's a bunch of different restaurants in there, or rather like, places where you can get food and then you go and pick a table and eat it, but very popular. And across the street from here, you're gonna find this place, Happy Camper, very, very popular brunch spot on the weekend. Very Instagrammy inside. A lot of good photo ops for social media. These are two very, very cool places to go. I love both of these. Great for business meetings and whatnot. But as you guys can see, you've got a ton of character in the Highlands. It's very walkable, a lot of cool places to live. Again, if you're going to pick a place down here, make sure you've got room for parking. But man, there's a lot of cool stuff here. And one of my favorite things is that you are just across the highway from downtown Denver. So if I zoom out here just a little bit and spin this back around, right here, let's go ahead and zoom in. You're going to see a couple of these pedestrian bridges that will take you from Lower Highland. So here's that Avanti place that I was just showing you with the rooftop bar. And then you've got this just right across the street here. Same up here. You've got this pedestrian bridge right here. So man, you guys can be right in the Highlands, and with a quick little stroll across the highway, you are then getting into LoDo and lower downtown. So that's enough of the Highlands. Let's get to the next neighborhood.
Number 4, moving right along, Central Park.
A little bit further east. So this is technically still in the heart of Denver, but when it comes to proximity compared to everywhere else we've talked to, this is a little bit further on the outskirts, still heart of Denver, but it's directly east of the city. If you take I-70 east out, you're gonna pass the I-70 expansion, which should be complete here in probably a couple of years. Really cool build. We can show some details of that. Eli, I'm sure, is gonna dive into some of that and show you guys, but really cool expansion, but it's about, 15 minutes?
From downtown? Yeah, probably
12, maybe 12, 15 minutes from downtown, not very far. I-70 east, but that takes you into Central Park. You've got a lot of different options when it comes to single family homes and some of their parks that they've built out there. You've got coffee shops and some of the really cool stuff, but it's just a little bit more, it's not trendy, but just a little bit more modern build.
Yeah.
Almost like everything you would need from suburbia, yet super close to the city, if that makes sense.
It is, and this neighborhood is one of a kind in the sense that you're gonna have the newest homes, the most modern designed neighborhoods, all the shopping and dining and modern conveniences as you would get in any other
big grocery stores, King Supers, Costco, like you're getting the suburbia.
Yeah, yet you're in the city of Denver and 10 to 15 minutes from it. There is no other place like it because all of Denver, it's 1940s and 50s homes, right? Yes, there are some new builds that have been scraped and rebuilt and stuff like that, but you're not getting the modern master planned communities like Central Park is really anywhere else in Denver.
No, it's definitely one of those ones where it's like if you just have to be close to the city, but you just love what like suburban areas have to offer. And it's a big enough area where when you come up off the highway and you get into some of these neighborhoods, like you don't feel like you're still right next to the highway. It's huge. Great. You've got a lot of great open parks and things like that, so it doesn't give the feel of, oh, it's great, but it's right off the highway. You don't feel like that. And if you guys come out here and see it in person, you'll definitely see what I mean when it comes to that.
All right, now diving into Central Park a little bit. This is one of the most unique neighborhoods I think you're going to find in Denver for the reasons we just mentioned. It's new homes, it's tons of parks, it's very suburban within the city of Denver, guys. So it's kind of crazy, and it is one of the very unique places out here. All right, so I want to lay out some context before we really dive into the neighborhood itself. So you're going to see here that I'll just give you guys kind of the rough outline of what Central Park looks like. So it's right here, and as you guys can see, we've got I-70 that cuts right through the middle of it. Okay, I-70 is one of the primary east-west highways that you're going to find here. I-70 is what's going to take you all the way out to the mountains and on the ski resorts and stuff like that. Now it cuts right through the middle. Here they've got Central Park on the north side, which I would venture to say that this is more Northfield. Technically it's Central Park, but there's a separate neighborhood called Northfield up there. That's what I would classify that as. I would consider typical Central Park to be here on the south side. So that's what we're going to focus on today. And then just to give you guys a little bit more context, let me go ahead and zoom out here just a little bit. You guys are going to see the Denver Zoo right here. You're going to see Coors Field right here and lower downtown. And Highlands is going to be right about here, what we just talked about. This looks like it might be fair distance away, but if you were downtown, all you're going to do is come up I-25, jet over I-70, and then here you're coming right down into Central Park. And this is maybe about 15 minutes. So it really, because it's all highway, it really does go quick. So let's now go ahead and dive into Central Park itself. Now, what you guys can see here initially is that, hey, a lot of greenery, right? You've got this big old park up here. You've got these green medians that cut through everything. You've got this park, this park, this park, this park, this park, all of this big park. I mean, you've got parks all throughout here. You've got this school right here with another big park by it. There's so much parks out here. And on top of that, you're surrounded by really commercial, shopping, dining, close highway access, literally everything that you could possibly need while being close to downtown, while having new build, typical suburban style homes here. So this just took me right into an alley. So let's go ahead and come out of this alley here a little bit. We're going to start driving down the road here. So let's go this way. And let's see, we'll turn around this way. We'll go with the flow of traffic. Really, I want to just cruise down here a little bit, give you guys a feel for some of the styles of home that you're going to see out here. Typically, you're going to find homes starting around the, let's say, 750 to 800 range. Keeping in mind that a lot of these are going to be newer homes. I would say approximately 2010 and newer, and even up to some brand new builds that they're going to have out there. But as you guys can see, there's greenery everywhere. There are trees everywhere. None of these are main roads. These are all primary roads. You know, you're not going to find a whole ton of busy through traffic through a lot of these. And it's just gorgeous. It's very walkable. And again, this neighborhood is so unique. Surprisingly, a lot of people still don't really know about it. Most of the Denver homes that you're going to see are 1940s, 1950s. These are 2018, 2020 and newer. You're going to find blends of townhomes and condos and beautiful homes like this. Plenty of single family homes, plenty of parks and places for the dogs and things like that. And again, plenty of shopping and dining. It's absolutely gorgeous. So, whether you're living out here or not, if you are anywhere around Denver, living around Denver, you're probably going to be utilizing this once in a while, at least for the dog parks and things like that. You guys can just see it's so walkable. There's so many good places to, these trails that they've got here, little sculptures and stuff throughout. It's just such a very cool, unique place. So if you guys are kind of torn between wanting the suburban lifestyle, but you don't want to be far from Denver, or you just want to be straight up in Denver, man, Central Park is a place you should definitely be looking. So that being said, guys, let's hit the next neighborhood.
All right, guys, number 5, our final one today, we're going to be talking about Cherry Creek North / Cherry Creek. So Cherry Creek as a whole, but then more specifically, we'll kind of dive into Cherry Creek North, which is where all of your living is, it's nightlife-wise.
Yeah. So this is a really unique area as well. We coin it the Beverly Hills of Denver. And yes, that's an exaggerated phrase. We know it's not literally like that, but that's where you're going to find the
But
best.
people are still nice.
People are super nice. They still have that Colorado vibe, but this is where you're going to find the most high-end luxury homes, the most high-end dining, the most high-end shopping. I would venture to say probably the most walkable area within Denver, the most walkable neighborhood within Denver, maybe next to Highlands. Highlands is super walkable. Cherry Creek, if you worked from home or worked down in Cherry Creek and you lived down in Cherry Creek, that's one of the few places, if you didn't want to go anywhere else outside to the mountains or anything, where you could walk everywhere.
Correct. Now, Cherry Creek has a lot of neighborhoods that are kind of resting up against Wash Park. Mm-hmm. That's how close to Wash Park it gets.
Just on the north side, right?
Correct. You've got some private golf courses that are out there. When you get into Cherry Creek North, you definitely have some single family home neighborhoods that are really nice. Similar to Wash Park in the sense of the older style homes, but you've got some scrapes and some builds out there all the way up to 15 million. There's one being built right now for about 15 million. Yeah. But then you've got some that are all the way down toward $1 million and just great little lots and things that you can have. Mm-hmm. But you've also got a lot of condos that are out there and some of these new buildings that are right across from the mall. But when it comes to restaurants and everything being right there in your condos and just giving a little bit more of a tech center feel, but it's not a tech center. It's almost it reminds me of Irvine Spectrum, believe it or not, if you guys have ever been there in California. It's out in Irvine, California. Great reference, but you've got Restoration Hardware at the mall. You've got Louis Vuitton. You've got all the restaurants that are right there in the mall, but you've got these great restaurants right across the street, condos inside the buildings up top, but then just within 2 blocks, right next to all these restaurants, you've got single family homes. Yeah. And some of these scrapes and new builds to really a cool contrast right in the heart. And it's right off of Spear. Which takes you right downtown. So within 8 minutes, 7 minutes of going down Spear Boulevard, you're right downtown.
And you're also right off Colorado Boulevard, which is a primary north-south road. It'll take you right down to I-25. So real easy.
A little bit of a commute.
Yeah, a little bit of a commute because you're kind of right in the middle between I-25 and I-70, which is on the far north side.
Pick one, depending on where you're going.
We're showing you guys on a map right now so you see what the heck we're talking about. But as the Highlands is to trendy young professionals, I would say that Cherry Creek is to, more hey, you're wearing a suit to work and stuff, right? Yeah. Maybe you're not at the startup company, but you're wearing the suit to work a little more. A little bit. Yeah, I don't know what I'm really trying to say.
It's like a little mini downtown, a little bit.
You know? It kind of is.
It is. I will say, as far as like commute-wise, not bad into the heart of Denver, like lower downtown or just downtown in general. As far as getting out of it, it's got a little bit of the most commute because you are right in the center. So getting to like I-25 or getting to I-70 takes a little bit more time. Wash Park is closer to I-25. But then if you're gonna be down in like lower downtown or the Highlands, even though it's in the heart of the city, you're also right there at the highway, which means you can commute a little bit quicker when it comes to the airport or going up north to Boulder and things like that. Cherry Creek North is gonna be the one that's a little bit into like no man's land as far as like getting your way out. And I'm splitting hairs, it doesn't take a while at all, but that would be the one that's a little bit harder to get out of outside of just going downtown, out of all of them.
All right, guys, last but not least, let's go check out a little bit of Cherry Creek and see what Google Earth has to offer as far as Cherry Creek goes. But let me go ahead and I don't want to hold you guys back from doing the good old 360 view here. So let's take a look at Google Earth. All right, look at that beauty here. So you guys heard us say it before, you know, Cherry Creek, its own little world within Denver. It's sitting just outside of Denver. And once this thing finishes, you know, its little spin around here, I'll reorient us with where we're at. So let me zoom out here just a little bit. So, okay, so here on the west side, you can see I-25 running north and south here. And actually, let me go ahead and turn it this way because I-25, it goes it goes west for a little bit here and then it comes back up north. We've got Wash Park right here, so we're fairly close, okay? Let me go ahead and outline Wash Park here so you guys can orient yourself with where we were before. So this is Wash Park, bam, right here. And it is actually going to touch corners with Cherry Creek. Okay, now Cherry Creek is actually a fairly small block of homes, right? Hence probably why it partially is as pricey as it is supply and demand, right? Typical thing here. We've got Colorado Boulevard on the right-hand side here. You've got the Cherry Creek Shopping Mall right here, which if you're looking for any high-end shopping in Colorado, any of the fancy stores, you're gonna be able to find them there. Anytime I gotta give my wife a nice bag or something like that, I gotta go to Cherry Creek. What you're also going to find here are amazing restaurants. And you guys know we always talk restaurants and all that fun stuff. Let's jump down here onto one of the streets that you're going to find. So this is typical Cherry Creek here. Very, very walkable. Really nice Starbucks right here, by the way. We're just going to cut down here a little bit. You've got a lot of independently owned shops here. You don't have a whole lot of chains, which I really do enjoy. You're going to have Cherry Creek Art Festival down here, which is always a fun annual thing. And again, just very nice dining and stuff like that. Now, once we start getting into some of the homes, and I'm going to keep creeping up here a little bit here. Right now we're on 3rd Avenue and Fillmore. Let me go ahead and cut up north here on Fillmore. So I'm going to start coming up here. You're going to see some apartments or townhomes, and then we're going to start getting into some of these homes, which the trees are so big, we can't see a lot of them. But very, very, very walkable here. This is probably one of the few homes in the area. And actually, this has probably been rebuilt by now at this point, but you're going to find a lot of those. See, so like right here, brand new builds popping up, come down just a little bit more. This is a lot of what some of the standard homes that you're going to see in Cherry Creek. Something like this might be going for 3 to 5 million, perhaps, right around there. You're going to find things like that. You're not going to find a whole lot of those. Even something like this is a little duplex. This would probably be at least $1 million, maybe 1.5, just because the property values here are so high. Again, very walkable. You're near some of the best shopping that you're going to find in Colorado. The thing is though, we just have a few blocks here. So coming north on Fillmore, and you're maybe going from about 1st Avenue up to about 6th Avenue before, so here's 6th Avenue right here. So I'm on 6th Avenue right here, and then you can see it all just kind of stops, right? Doesn't feel like Cherry Creek anymore, right? This is definitely that cutoff. So you've got about 6 north-south blocks where you've got some amazing homes, amazing condos, really good stuff. But then that's it. It just kind of leads to the whole supply and demand thing of Cherry Creek, which is what keeps the values so high. Now, zooming back out here a little bit. Oh, not that much. I want to show you guys just exactly, what this area is here. So let me just kind of reorient ourselves. You guys can see Denver Botanic Gardens right here. Gorgeous place. If you guys are in town visiting, you should definitely go check out the Botanic Gardens. I'm gonna zoom in just a touch. So, you know, these homes over here, this is going to be probably the less popular side of Cherry Creek, more apartments down here. And then you've got some big condos and apartments right here. You've got the mall. And then this is where you're gonna have a lot of the shopping and dining in these couple square blocks. And then right here is about where you start getting into the homes, and you're gonna have, you know, 4 or 5 blocks north up here of these homes. And then just really this kind of square block here. So not a whole ton of inventory, but man, it is I would say, I'd venture to say this is the most walkable neighborhood that we have here in Colorado. And if you're in Cherry Creek, guys, one of the few places that you don't need to leave Cherry Creek, right? Everything that you need is going to be right here. And even if you're not living right in Cherry Creek, you're going to be using it a lot. We're here for business meetings all the time. This is a place too that if my wife and I, we go out here for date night quite often. And then a lot of times we'll just go and just walk the blocks and, you know, look at the homes and just have your own little, you know, personal like vision board, right? Real life vision board of some of the gorgeous homes that are out there. So it's a great place that whether you guys are living there or not, there's so much to go explore. And at a minimum, go to the Cherry Creek Art Festival when they're having it. There's really good brunch places and stuff down there. So don't neglect this area. Great shopping, great dining, great walkability. You'll love the homes out there. And it just really is a very special place. That's it for Cherry Creek, guys. Let's get back to the video.
All right, guys, there you have it. These are the top 5 neighborhoods we consider that you guys should be thinking about. Another thing you should be thinking about is this number that's popping up below, and us reminding you that we are licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado. That's right. And just as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those real estate needs. So that number that's still below, we are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So if we can help you, we would love to. But with that being said, enjoy these neighborhoods, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you guys very soon.
See you guys.